In less than 8 minutes, I will tell you everything you need to know in order to pass any AP exam and get college credit. When you look at the statistics of grade distribution on advanced placement, also known as AP exams, you will see that on average, 40% of the kids who take these tests in every subject do not get the college credit and score a 1 or a 2. If you were in class all year and did all of your assignments and homework, then what the heck happened? I homeschool my 9th grader. He did not take these courses in public school. So how did he take 3 AP classes his freshman year at home with me and pass every single one of them with flying colors and receive an AP Scholar Award? Good question, right? The advice I'm going to give you will help you whether you are in public school or homeschool, so take notes. Let me start off by saying this is my first year of homeschooling my kids. I am not a professor or an educator of any kind. Yet, in addition to all of the other courses my son took with me this past year, he also took AP Biology, AP Government, and AP Psychology. Before we decided on homeschooling, when we were on his high school tour, his school, his former school, one of the best in the nation, warned very dramatically against taking AP classes for freshmen. In fact, when my son voiced his opinion that he wanted to take AP Bio and AP Government, he was told it was next to impossible and that he would have 2 hours of homework in each AP class per night, and this is in addition to all the other homework he had for his regular classes. This sounded absolutely ridiculous. Why would that be? In college, you don't have 2 hours of homework in every class every night, and that's what these courses are. They're college courses. This made no sense to me. Upon further investigation, I found my answer. Public schools say 9th grade students are not sufficiently prepared to participate in college-level courses because if they fail them, it reflects badly on their school. It's not about the students, it's about the reputation of the school. Imagine that. By the way, that's like reason 452 to homeschool, but just saying. We made our decision on homeschooling right after that tour and figured this out on our own, and here's what we did. First and foremost, you need to visit the College Board website. It's collegeboard.org, and figure out what courses you want to take. By the way, I'm going to give you links to all those resources I use down below to make your life a little bit easier at the end of this video. Next, do a quick Google search and purchase the textbook that supports the information taught in the course. Always get the most recent version of the textbook because courses and tests change all the time and the information that supports them can sometimes vary. You also want to purchase 2 different AP exam workbooks. You can get these on Amazon. I've looked at all of them. The 2 I prefer are Cliff Notes and 5 Steps to a 5. The 5 Steps to a 5 book you aren't going to use until 6 weeks before the test, so you can hold off getting that one for a little bit if you want. Now, you need to figure out how to pace yourself. Every week, my son would read 1 to 2 chapters in the official course textbook at the beginning of the week. We went straight through it without jumping around and doing chapters out of order. For some reason, they do that in public schools. I don't understand why. Like, they'll just be like, let's do evolution first, and then let's come do something else. It's like, no, just do the book in order. It's written in order for a reason. He would then answer the questions that are at the end of each chapter as additional work. Many times, I let him skip the essay writing and just focus on the multiple choice. The textbooks give way more information than you will ever need to know, I promise you that. So as long as he read it, I was pretty okay with that. It gave the foundation for everything else that was coming up next. Now comes the fun part, or at least it was fun to me. You're going to use a combination of resources for the rest of the week, and almost all of them are free. And you know what they say, if it's free, it's for me. If you haven't heard of Crash Course on YouTube, you need to check it out. They do a crash course on like every subject, and they basically follow along with how the information is presented in the textbook. It is fun, interesting, and easily digestible. I would assign the crash course for him to watch that supported the information he had just read in the textbook. Since that usually only took 30 minutes or less, he would also visit Khan Academy on the same day. Khan Academy is another great resource, especially for AP STEM classes. Next, he would review and reinforce all the same material again. And then for the remainder of the week, he would again reinforce what he read with study.com, which along with Khan Academy is by far the best resource that exists for learning out there. Khan is free, but there is a fee for study.com, but it is completely worth it. As a side note, make sure you are specifically looking for classes titled with AP or with 101 after the name. When you pick your courses, you need to make sure you're studying the right information. The regular on-level high school courses differ dramatically. Finally, when the study.com and Khan Academy for each chapter was completed, my son would read and do a review test at the end of the Cliff Notes AP Review workbook that I mentioned earlier. An important thing to note is at the end of these workbooks, there are full AP review tests. You need to save those until the end of the year. We'll talk about that in just a few seconds, but do not do those during the year. Save them for the end. So we repeated this same cycle. Textbook, crash course, Khan Academy, study.com, Cliff Notes workbook, study cycle every single week, and this is how we went through the year. You know, it is more intensive than high school honors courses and regular high school courses, but it's supposed to be. However, my son didn't have any homework, he didn't work on weekends, he didn't work on nights, and you know what? We weren't all paranoid if you missed a day of school and the world didn't come to a crashing end like they tell you is going to happen if you miss an AP class or you miss a week of AP classes. That's definitely the end of the world right there. Okay, now let's cut to 6 weeks before the test. This is when the real review starts and we break out the 5 steps to a 5 workbook. Each chapter was yet another review of each area. He went straight through the book a little bit each day. We would spend a decent amount of time focusing on weaknesses here. He would do the questions at the end of each chapter and we would focus on what was he missing, what was he not grasping at this point. And we would then look for videos on YouTube to supplement each area of this weakness. Like for instance, the Supreme Court cases for AP Government. You need to know, they're really kind of specific and you need to know a lot of them and they do get confusing. So here's a place where you might want to spend a little bit more time, or at least where my son needed to. Or advanced genetics in AP Biology. That just sums it up right there. I don't even have to go into details about that. It's called advanced genetics. Sometimes I found the videos for him to watch, sometimes he found them himself. There's a ton of great information out there. Lastly, 2 weeks before the big AP exam, we did practice tests, usually 3 or 4 full exams given 3 or 4 days apart. You will find these at the end of the workbooks that you purchased, the Cliff Notes and the 5 steps to a 5. These should be timed and given under test-like conditions, no breaks, no nothing in between them. They are long tests, they really are. Some of them are 3 hours. I think this is truthfully the only time that my son even did any schoolwork on the weekends, because the way that our 3 to 4 day schedule was falling, sometimes he had to do the tests on the weekends because I didn't want to do them, you know, one day and then the next day. He needed that little break in between so he could review what exactly he was missing on the test, so that way when he took the next one, he got a couple more answers right. You absolutely cannot, under any circumstances, just try to buckle down in the last 6 weeks if you did not follow the rest of this method. That would be a surefire way not to get the score you want. Don't forget, you need to sign up to take your AP test at least 3 months in advance. I signed my son up in early February. You need to go to the College Board website and find schools in your area that will accept homeschool students. Then you need to call the school and really find out if they're going to accept homeschool students, because sometimes they just don't want to be bothered, sometimes they don't call you back. That definitely happened to me, but once I found a school that would allow my child to register, I just signed him up, showed up when the rest of the world took the test, and then you know you can go there every single year because you know they've already have his College Board number and everything once he starts taking tests at a school. So don't get me wrong, you know, every child's different. You need to be super ambitious to take an AP exam in high school, much less 3 of them in a year. There is a lot of information out there, but it is completely doable. You just need to use different resources and kind of put them all together. And I definitely have honed in on what the best ones are. If you follow these steps, you are going to be extremely prepared for any AP exam that you might want to take. Let me know how you do, and good luck.